Hey VC, this is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. Unless this is the first time you're viewing my channel, then just welcome. So this week, last week of February, so happy last week of February, happy last day of February. Tomorrow is March 1st. What are we doing this week? Well, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, something I haven't done, but I'm kind of toying with the idea of doing, which is showing some of my rarer, harder to find albums. So I picked 3 for this week, all in the rock genre. Zeppelin, Bowie, and Banshee are the 3 that I'm going to show you. And what I'm hoping to do is a lot of the albums that I wind up putting on my want list are albums that I've seen other VC members showing from their collections, and I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting record, and so, you know, I didn't even know it existed, so let me put it on my want list. Should I run across it, I'll grab it, I'll snag it, I'll know what it is. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to accomplish with you guys. So we're going to start with a little bit of Led Zeppelin, and also going to do a needle drop after each one of the albums. That way you're going to get to hear a little bit of it as well. This is Zeppelin Mudslide. This is an unofficial copy of Zeppelin Mudslide. This was released in 1978 on red vinyl. And this is released by Blue Ribbon Records. Red vinyl, white label, realistically no writing at all. Their Blue Ribbon Records released a couple of these unofficial copies. From what I've been able to gather and ascertain, this is one of the more sought after, one of the more rare pieces. This was only limited to a run of 200, at least according to Discogs, it was limited to a run of 200. Again, I've not run across it. This is the first time I had seen it was when I wound up buying it. And it was a local fella who had it, and he just called me up and said, hey, I gotta, I'm kind of selling my collection. Do you want them? So I went over, and I kind of knew he had some decent stuff, mostly because we had traded in the past. So I wound up buying it, and I really didn't know anything about it. I mean, it was a Zeppelin album, so it was cool. I kind of figured it was going to be an unofficial copy just by looking at it, obviously. But I had no idea of the rarity of the record itself until I got home and was able to do a little research on it. And again, Blue Ribbon Records, this is Mudslide. The concert that they're talking about on this was the 1971, or 1970 or 71, I don't recall the year exactly now. This was the Vancouver show that Zeppelin did. And it's a live album, obviously, we're going to listen to a brief cut of it in just 2 seconds. Okay, so hopefully you liked it. So that is the Mudslide, Led Zeppelin, red vinyl, limited to 200. That's our first entry. The next one is David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. This was the 1990 promo reissue. They did this when they reissued the Ziggy Stardust album in 90. What they did was they issued the demo with a CD, and the record as well. Basically, the idea was, here's the record, what it sounded like originally. Here's the CD, it's been remastered. This is what it sounds like now. This is a gatefold, actually. And you can see that it actually comes with the CD. Oddly enough, they really didn't do such a great job with the CD, according to Discogs and a bunch of other people I follow, and you can see it happens here as well, is that a lot of the CDs were damaged because the wallet had the CD stuck to it. And this one, while not stuck on the play side, it is stuck a little bit, so it can become difficult to pull out. And I've never even bothered playing the CD on this one, so it's always been there and remains in there. And of course, this has got some great liner notes, and it's like it was a nice little package. This one also was the yellow label. Let me pull this out. The Dynaflex, the promo orange label. This one, again, a local yard sale actually, and it was weird. One of my really good friends who he and I collect together, and a lot of times we'll go out together and we'll trade and whatnot. He had beaten me to this yard sale, and he had picked up a lot of really cool stuff, but for some reason he left the David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust behind. So when I got there, I really was kind of like, sure, let me take a look what you got, not really expecting to find anything, because I knew my buddy had beaten me there. And then I found this, and you know, he knew what he had, but he was also very reasonable with regards to the pricing. So naturally, I grabbed it. And so now you're going to listen to a little bit of this as well, and I'll see you on the other side, 15 seconds hence. Okay, so hopefully you liked it. Hopefully it sounded nice and clear. So that was number 2. That's Bowie Stardust 1990 Press Kit Promo Reissue. And we're going to conclude with a prog rock band, which I knew nothing about. And realistically had never heard from them. It was a blind buy from either my local Savers or Salvation Army, one of my local thrift stores. And it was called Banshee. I just saw the cover. I absolutely fell in love with the cover. And took a quick look at Discogs and was like, okay, this is a pretty rare piece. We're going to go grab it. So here is the cover for this band. And again, not a band I've really heard of. This is on Polydor. And it's Banshee. Here we go. And so, this one also is one of those records that you kind of run across not knowing what it is. And again, it was a blind buy for me. I just bought it, honestly, because the cover, if you look at the cover and you just kind of get that feeling that, hey, you know, this really does look like a late 60s, early 70s prog rock album or something. At least it's worthy of listening to. So I wound up grabbing it, playing it, spinning it, really enjoying it. And as I said, it was pleasantly surprised to find out that it was indeed a relatively rare album, and certainly one that was hard to find. So why don't you listen to a quick few seconds of this as well, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so you got to listen to that as well. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We were listening to Coleman Hawkins on the stereo a few moments ago. So those three are this week's my personal collection records that are harder to find on the rarer side. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Let me know what you think of these records, and if you like it enough, I'll do a sequence of these. Most of my really hard to find albums, honestly, are in the rock genre, because I was collecting rock long before I started getting into jazz and collecting jazz. And I'll try to stay away from like they're uncommon, but you know, it's like the ones pretty much everybody knows. The Beatles, Yesterday and Today comes to mind with the Butcher cover. I don't have one, which makes it easy for me to show it because I don't have one. But even if I did, I'd probably try to stay away from that because it's something pretty much everyone knows exists. So I'm going to try to go with more of the stuff that is really more on the obscure side, rare, not necessarily, oh my God, expensive, but certainly, rare or hard to find, not as much of. And let me know what you think. Show me some of yours if you have them. Leave me a comment. Subscribe to my channel if you like the concept that I just did. Or if you just like talking about records and you want to just share information back and forth. I love the interplay. That's kind of like a lot of fun for me. I try to answer all the comments. Sometimes I slip one or two slips by. If you subscribe, I always try to subscribe back. Just as a common courtesy. So that's it for this week. Again, happy end of February. Hopefully for all of my friends in Texas, you're all back to normal. I've been kind of following the news and it seems like everything's getting back to normal except for some of you. Hopefully none of my friends are the ones who got hit with these insane electric bills. God, I'm hoping it's not. You guys. In the meantime, stay safe, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next week. Cheers.